that my kids won't be a part of it. That my kids won't be there. That would make me say I'm not doing it. Like, especially with now being back in North Carolina where, you know, AJ's a big part of our lives and like yeah, I wouldn't I'm not leaving him.
So I screwed up. So as you can see, Lexi and I are wearing receivers for microphones. And the problem is that while I had my camera set up and I had the microphones ready to go, I never switched the inputs in my computer, and all of the video and audio got recorded from the built-in microphone and camera on my MacBook. My bad. But so there are gonna be moments that you're gonna be able to tell the audio and the video is not gonna be as good as it normally is. I do apologize, but it was a real moment that Lexi had. Like her answers are authentic. She didn't hear the questions beforehand, so everything you see is like her normal reaction, and recording it just wouldn't do it justice. So I hope you stick with us and bear with me. I'm gonna do the best I can to and boost the audio, but I do apologize. My bad. When you think about actually moving to Puerto Rico, what's the what's the what's the dominant feeling? What's the first thing you feel?
First it's gonna bring back lots of memories, childhood and a young adulthood. Um so I guess I'm a little nervous of what that's gonna feel like to visit it now as a full grown adult. Um because even being there when with the kids I was young, like
You're
I
still a
was
kid yourself.
I was still a
Yeah.
kid myself, like, but now I can look back at all those memories and all the places and everything. And I mean, I'm sure everything looks different and it's going to feel different, but still all those memories are going to be the same. Like, the memories don't change. Um, so I guess a little nervous of what that would feel like initially.
Like a good nervous, or
A good and a kind of, oh, nervous, I guess. Like,
is there any part of you that that kind of feels like you won't like it? Like you made you made a mistake. Provided everything we have everything, just your
mm,
emotions. Like you think that any part of you that thinks that
again, that's obviously a fear as well. Um, is that I know me wanting to be there or wanting to call that home then we're talking 30 some odd years later, am I still feeling it? Is it still going to feel the same? I don't know. I haven't been there, for in that way in a very long time. uh the last time I went was when we went to bury my kid's dad, and again, it wasn't for, any leisure or pleasure or anything like that. It was, we went there for what we went for, and it was a few days and we were back home. So I don't know. I don't know. My mind tells me yes, but I don't know.
in the move, do you feel like we're moving towards something or running away from something?
I don't feel like we're running away from anything. We came back to North Carolina because North Carolina is home. Like, I don't feel like I'm running from anything in North Carolina. Like, if, for whatever reasons we don't make it to Puerto Rico, North Carolina is going to be permanently home anyway. So, like, I don't feel like we're running from anything. Again, North Carolina's home. Like, there's nothing here that's like, oh, get the heck out of here. Like, I don't want to be here. Um, I yeah, I love North Carolina. So,
I just want to point out, and I've said this many times in previous vlogs, is that the goal. is financial freedom. So whether whether we make it to Puerto Rico or not, like the goal is to get to where we want to be so that we can spend the rest of our lives, living on our own terms and doing things that we want, and not having to sacrifice, our every waking hour at a 9 to 5 and stuff like that. So that is the goal no matter where we're at. We're hoping and we're choosing that that place will be Puerto Rico. But I mean, there is a real possibility that we might not never go. That we might not never go. And if we decide that for whatever the reasons we decide, after all this research, after doing everything that we're doing, to figure this out, if we decide that this is not the move, then North Carolina is where we're gonna stay. Like this is gonna be this is gonna be home. So, Puerto Rico's definitely the destination that we're choosing, but it's not the goal. The goal, regardless, is financial freedom.
Definitely agreed. That's why I said like North Carolina is home no matter what. It's gonna be home no matter what.
And doing everything that we've done so far in the research and me talking about it and everything, what do you say is the hardest part about going through this with me?
The hardest part,
Yeah.
I guess, where I am, I guess what you call at this point, because of the things that we've gone through, I'm like very, I guess what people will say, optimistic, right? Or
Yeah.
pessimistic.
Pessimistic.
Pessimistic. Because I'm like just nervous and scared. Um, and I know that that's frustrating for you because you're the type of person that when you set your mind to something, like you just set your mind to it and you're just like looking for ways to make that whatever happen. And I'm just like thinking of the what ifs and the negatives and the
Well, can I be very honest with you about something? And I said that I was talking to Brett about this. Brett is our imaginary friend. Um, I said this to him the other day. I'm like, the difference is that, so yeah, I'm the optimist in the family. I'm the dreamer. I'm the one that's willing to take the big leaps. I'm the one that, I'm the one that pushes us forward. So yeah, like there are sometimes, when I'm excited about something, or I set my mind to something, and that's all I focus on is like, this is the goal, this is the goal, this is the goal. So then when I look for that enthusiasm and that excitement in you, and you don't have it, yeah, at the moment it is frustrating. It's like, damn, woman, like, be excited with me. But I will say, and this aspect is what makes our relationship, I think, so great. Is that Lexi's also the one that's the grounded. She's the here and now. You're like, okay, but let's
focus,
let's
focus.
focus. Yeah, you're the okay, but let's take it one step at a time. Like me, like as soon as we thought about this, like if we didn't have Harley, like I would have probably like said, let's sell all this shit and move and we'll figure it out. But Lexi's the one that, she's like, no, we gotta think about this. We gotta plan. We gotta take steps. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. So in the end, it balances out, and I think that that's very important to this relationship. Is that, so together we make the right moves at the right
At the
time.
right times.
So I think that that works. So, and then my next question is, do you feel like I fully understand what this move will mean to you emotionally?
Uh, I mean, I think you do. I think we've spoken about it enough, and you know, I've told you plenty of stories, and we've gone down those rabbit holes of my childhood and even my young adulthood. Um, again, going back to the very first question, where you asked about what it would be like for me now, um, I think I'm more worried about me and what I'm gonna feel like and what it's gonna do to me, and not in the physical aspect, but more of the emotional aspect of it. Um, so while there's a lot of childhood, there's a lot of young adulthood with my children. That's gonna, all those memories are gonna come back. There's also the loss of my children's dad. That's also gonna be, prevalent to me there because that's where we live. That was home for us. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that you understand it, and I think that you grasp like what this could mean to me. Do I? Probably. I don't think I do. Like, and I think more than anything, that's probably what scares me the most is what it's gonna do to my mental and my emotional.
So, if
Mm.
anything at all, what would make you say maybe we shouldn't do this?
What would make me say we shouldn't do this aside from the money aspect of
No,
it?
if aside from the yeah, aside from the we financially we done figured it out, but anything else at all? I mean, obviously financially we agree that there's no move if we're not financially, set. Like we're not going there
What
to
not?
figure this out and struggle. Like we're not. That's not the plan. So, but other than that, what would make is there anything, or and what would it be that would make you say maybe we shouldn't do this?
That my kids won't be a part of it. That my kids won't be there. That would make me say I'm not doing it. Like, especially with now being back in North Carolina where, you know, AJ's a big part of our lives. And, like, yeah, I wouldn't, I'm not leaving him.
I wouldn't want to leave them either.
Not happening. They can't be there. Not happening. And yes, people are going to be like, oh, it's just a plane ride. Nope. Not happening.
I mean, that was a very honest. The last question was very honest, and I think we agree. Like, we don't want to go there and be by ourselves. The object is to be, build a life with the family and be around for the grandchildren and stuff like that. So, but if everything worked out the way we'd like it to, the way we'd hope it would, what would, how do you imagine life would be like for us there?
I would imagine it would be peaceful. Um, I'm trying to think of the perfect word, and I know this is not it, but soothing, relaxing, um, mm, again, peaceful. Like it will just be peaceful. Like that's what I have in my head that it's gonna be. It's just gonna be peaceful and it's gonna be perfect.
Perfect to us. Right? Can agree with that. So, what are you praying for in this next chapter? Starting tomorrow.
Honestly,
Yeah.
health before anything, that I can live to see that happen, if that's what's in the cards for us. Um that I live to see that in with my health is there's a lot of peace, tranquility, and most importantly family, our kids and our grandkids. Like that's what I wish for. Like
I just want to point out that health is a concern because we're getting up there in age. Like, not that any of us are like have anything going on.
was
I don't know. Did you hear that? Yeah. So it's not like anything else. Thank God, right? We don't have anything going on, but just we're getting older, and just want to make sure that you know we work this hard to eventually see the fruits of our labor.
definitely
Yeah. So
want to be able to, you know, enjoy at least some of it, be healthy enough to that when the, grandkids are around, you have the energy and the, you know, and the ability to maybe not, run a marathon with them, but at least be able to play with them and sit with them by the pool and watch them, run themselves ragged and that but that you can actually be a part of it,
uh,
that you're not it's not stories being told to you from after the fact, that you're actually there witnessing it and seeing it. um yeah, that's more than anything is my health so that I can get to see those things and enjoy those things.
so after saying all of that out loud, now that you got it out, do you feel any different?
I mean, no, I don't feel any different. I think that something that maybe I hadn't said to you in the time that we've spoken about all this is me questioning what it's going to be like for me now at 51. you know um when I left there I was in my 20s, you know what I'm saying, like and I can tell you that then yes, I wanted to be there. If at 51 I'm going to still feel that way, so being able to say that out loud, I guess I can say it feels good to be able to say it and not feel like I'm being judged for it, or like, what do you mean, why do why wouldn't you feel the same?
No, hell no. That they ain't talking about 30 years
Like,
ago. Like, shit changed 30 years ago. Oh, well, I'm not in my 50s, but I would say
you're almost there.
what I'm saying, 40, I'm 47. There was a point in I was okay, so I would say 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I didn't want to leave the South Bronx. I thought the South Bronx was gonna be my life forever.
I mean,
So yeah, I totally.
18, 17 years ago, you would have told me I was gonna be in North Carolina. I'd have looked at you like you were crazy. New York was all I knew.
But that's why we need to take a flight and just kind of,
Oh, definitely.
you know,
I think that that's definitely something we need to
yeah.
do before.
And I have to say, and I said this before, like I was totally against that. I was like, don't. I told Lexi and our daughter, I was like, don't have me go to Puerto Rico and like it, because she talked it up so much. I was like, don't have me go to Puerto Rico and like it, and then now you gotta tell me I gotta bring my ass back.
and
Like,
and let me make it clear that me saying that is not thinking you're not gonna like it, because I'm pretty sure that you will. The question is gonna be, are you gonna like it enough to be like, I want this to be home? Because that's the difference
well,
here.
I've lived in worse places, so
I mean,
I'm just gonna. Oh, all right. How? What do you want the people watching this? What do you want them to feel, or to what do you want people watching this to understand about how you feel?
so I think it's important to know that at some point in life we all have a dream, a fantasy, a desire, right? That we're like, oh, that's something I want to do or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with saying to yourself, well, maybe I should try it. For some people, it's skydiving. It's we won't talk about skydiving because
I don't.
I tried to get him to, he won't do it. But anyway, to some people, it's skydiving. It's, being on a cruise for 7 days for the first time. So to everybody, it's gonna look different, obviously, depending on what it is. Um, but if if you don't have a fantasy or a dream, what are you working towards? Because even if you never get to do it, right? Like what are you living towards? Like what are you moving towards? Because so I can tell you that yes, all my life I've always said, the dream was to one day live in, my last days would be in Puerto Rico or whatever. But I wasn't working towards it. I was just, that's just my dream, and it's okay to dream. Like there's nothing wrong with that, which is something that I said to you not too long ago. Like even if Puerto Rico is home for a certain amount of time of the year and North Carolina is home for a certain, whatever it's going to look like for us, um it's okay to dream. It's okay to have that fantasy even if you don't ever get to fulfill it. But what fun is life if you don't have something to be like, I'm looking towards doing that.
So I'm gonna throw in an extra question that I just thought of because something you just said. Would you would you prefer it to split your time between North Carolina and Puerto Rico as opposed to living in Puerto Rico full time? Would that be more ideal for you?
I think that and I can't give a definitive answer on that because again, I don't know what it's going to feel like for me when I go back there.
Hmm.
I, I may feel strongly enough to say, I just want to stay here. Like I don't want the back of this is this is what feels good. And then I might go there and be like, okay, no, I can't be here for 12 months out of the year. Like I have to split my time or whatever. I don't know because I can't answer that honestly because I don't know what it's gonna feel like when my feet touch the ground there. I don't know.
And and the last thing that I I would what do you what would you say to somebody who's scared to start over?
Again, I'm I'm a very pessimistic type of person. Um I like to tell myself that I'm just a very precautionary person. I'm very like what if, like I have a what if for everything, and I'm always like, okay, but that's what we want to do. However, what if this happens while we're doing that? We need to have a plan B or C, D. I'm that type of person. Like I want plan A, B, C, D, just in case. So A fails, we go to B, B fails, we go to C, C fails, we go to D. Like that's just who I am. Um, I think starting over looks different for everybody. For us, in our starting over, while we were going through what we were going through, we had each other. It never became about you and I. It- the object was always the outside, figuring out how we were going to get through it. It was never us against each other. It was us against the world. And that might not look the same for everybody because again, people deal with situations differently. Um, is starting over scary? Absolutely, 1000%. When we initially left North Carolina, and I think because of what we've gone through is why it scares me so much because it's like after the amount of time that we spent going through what we went through and now to finally be here where we're home, we're comfortable, we can function daily without worries and like it's scary and it's okay to be scared. I mean, I think like you always used to tell me, you don't want me to be in the same, feeling like you feel and showing you that I feel how you feel because then it's just going to make it worse for you. And then now we're both just a mess. Um, that more than anything is the scariest part of of thinking of this change, of this new thing. Um, is the starting over. And then starting over in a new place. We started over coming back home because to us North Carolina was home. We knew North Carolina. We've been here before. we traveled North Carolina. We knew North Carolina. Um, so yeah, it's definitely scary. But find yourself a Carlos, not my Carlos, because
So
well, find yourself a Carlos, and you'll get through
so
it.
I just want to add to that starting over is scary no matter if you take a leap of faith or you have a 10-page well thought out
Hmm.
plan and executed and all the money in the world. Like it's crossing, I mean, obviously, like crossing all your t's and dotting all your i's is the optimal thing to do, but understand that it's still going to be, it's still going to be nerve wracking. It's still going to be, there's still going to be the what ifs. There's still going to be, did we make the right move? Did we do, whatever in the cases, so again, I want to say, because I talk about Puerto Rico because it is a dream. I've never been and I want to go. She's interested, but at the end of the day, the goal is for us to live the life that we don't need to escape from. It's to build a life that we don't need an escape from. And whether that's here in North Carolina or in the island of Puerto Rico, like that's the goal, to build a life we don't need to escape from. We love it, right now as we're sitting here, we love it for it to be Puerto Rico. But we don't know. We don't know. We're not ready to move yet, and we haven't been there. I've never been, and Lexi hasn't been, to experience that in quite some time. So, and even the last time she went, it was 13 years ago. So, um, we don't know what the future holds. Like we're hoping it'll be that, but um, we don't know. But whatever decision, wherever the destination may be, the goal is financial freedom and to live out the rest of our lives in the way that we want to. So, and we just wanted to share. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.